All right, here we are at our 1995 Lakeview. This is a 16 by 75 foot wide body custom built houseboat for sale. We're here today on the beautiful freshwaters of Norris Lake Tennessee. This slip is going to be transferable to a new owner, so if you are in the market for a houseboat but also in need of a slip, this is going to be a good option for you. This is also a fully insulated boat. It is thought that the original builder of this boat, the first owner, had it built with the intentions of being a liveaboard, and it is fully insulated. We've got insulated walls, windows, doors, ceiling, and even some sections of the interior cabin walls are also insulated. So this is, if you are looking for a liveaboard, this is definitely one you're going to want to consider. We'll say most of the time the insulated boats are going to be much larger boats, typically with the custom built nature of all these aluminum houseboats. Generally, when that first owner does opt for an insulation package, they usually have some pretty deep pockets and are building a very large boat to begin with. So, often you're going to see like uh, a 17 or 18 by 80, 90, or even 100 are typically the ones that do have insulation packages, because those owners typically spare no expense when they build them. Every once in a while, we get kind of more of a average person's houseboat that original owner did opt to pay extra for that insulation package. So that is what we have here today. This is a 16 by 75 foot, 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath boat with the full insulation package. It also has some other notable features that you're going to like as well. So we're here for our video walkthrough tour. As usual, you'll find the full list of specifications, features, options, and all that other good stuff. It's all going to be over at our website at www.yournewboat.com. Now, for your description, there will be a direct link down in the video description of the with the direct link to our listing page over at our website. So feel free to use that direct link for your convenience to get to the full listing page of this one, where you're going to see a photo slideshow tour, as well as a printable PDF, and as well as all of our contact information, current asking price, and all that good stuff. As usual, we do not mention the asking prices on our video tours, mostly because they will frequently change between when a listing is first listed and until it is sold. So we don't hide those. They are very easily found over at our website. And like I said, for your convenience, down in that video description, it's going to be that direct link that take you right to the listing page for this one. That's where you're going to see all of our contact info, as well as the current asking price. And again, full list of specifications, features, options. You will be able to contact us by phone, by text, or by email, whatever's most convenient for you. But we do like to remind you, we do not monitor the YouTube comment page. So if you do have any questions about this one, please do take the time to go down that video description, get the direct link to this one. Or again, if you're watching this on a device where you cannot view that direct link, all you got to remember is our website, yournewboat.com. Type that into your favorite web browser of your choice. Hit enter. As that loads, you're going to see some orange lettering. If you're on a mobile device, it's probably going to load right onto our Find Your New Boat page. So all you do is scroll down until you get to this one. Again, the 1995 16 by 75 foot wide body aluminum hull houseboat. And if you're not on a mobile device, then look for that Find Your New Boat button. When you click that, then it's going to load all of our inventory and order price. And all you got to do is scroll down again until you get to the 1995 Lakeview 16 by 75. All right, moving right along, let's get on with our video tour. Although before I do, I should point out up here on the bow, we do have a boarding gangplank. So you can see this kind of board that is slid into that slot right there. You've got two handles on there, and then we've got that bar that kind of goes across right there at that open bow railing. So that bar is going to slide out. See the slot that we've got here on this end of our gangplank, that will slide right into that slot, and there you have it. That's going to be a bow boarding gangplank. So this would be something that if you wanted to beach this one and just tie up the rear to shore, that boarding gangplank is going to make things a whole lot easier for you. So depending on where you are, sometimes that's a desirable option. Again, these houseboats are all custom built, made to order, so sometimes you'll have some options that original buyer of the boat selected. And that's also why you'll see values will range quite large on these aluminum houseboats. So, all right, so here on our front porch, we do have an updated ceiling fan with, I believe, some LED lighting. Of course, we've got some rope lights just under our ceiling there as well. Most of what you will see in this one will be transferable. Most of the personal belongings or excluded items have been removed, except there is a jet ski on the back that is going to be excluded from the sale of this one. So here's a look at that bow boarding gangplank there. Of course, you've got a nice cleat right there as well if you're someone that is able to anchor in the area where you boat, then that's a great option as well. Now, as we step inside, of course, you've got the required ship bell, but we've also got a doorbell on this one. So that's kind of a rarity that we don't usually see in our houseboats, but we have come across them from time to time. Now, we're going to turn and show you our Helm station here. I don't know if you noticed the noise difference when we stepped in through that insulated sliding door. But again, we do have the same insulated windows and insulated wall package on this one. So again, this was quite an upgrade when this one was built. So here's our engine instrumentation. We do have our dual MMC. This is an electronic shifting controller. We've got remote spotlight controls, Ritchie compass. We've got a functional Lowrance 3500 depth finder, and we've got a rudder angle indicator gauge right here in the center here. As I move this wheel, you're going to see that move. Dual USB chargers right here. It's going to be a light for a halon fire suppression system that's in our engine room. We'll try to point that out when we get there. And then we've got both port side and starboard side instrumentation for both of our twin. We've got V8 5.0 liter Mercruiser inboard outboard stern drive engines with Bravo Outdrives. Port side engine is showing 1495.1 engine hours. And then here we've got your engine water temperature gauge, your engine oil pressure gauge, your battery voltmeter, and your tachometer. We've got 2 fuel tanks, and actually the way this works is you've got a toggle switch. That's going to be your reading on your port side fuel gauge or fuel tank, and this is your starboard side fuel tank right there. And those are a pair of 78-gallon aluminum fuel tanks. And then over here on your starboard side, same tachometer, battery voltmeter, engine oil pressure, engine water temperature, and your engine hours are reading 1,498.5 engine hours over here on the starboard side. So again, that's 1,498.5. We'll round that up, call it 1,499, and 1,495 over here on your port side. Also got bilge pumps. You're going to have 3 bilge pumps throughout. You're essentially the below deck construction of pretty much all your aluminum houseboats. You're going to have a firewall basically at each sliding door. So you've got a separate compartment out here in the bow with its own bilge pump. You've got your cabin hull storage area, which is going to be a large storage space. It's also going to share things like your freshwater tanks, your holding tanks, your plumbing, your electrical, your HVAC ductwork, and also is going to have a separate bilge pump with automatic float switch, and then another bilge pump back in the engine room where you're on the other side of that firewall. So now it is not necessarily unique to this one, but in that large engine, or not an engine, but hull crawl space where you've got all those things I just mentioned, your plumbing, your HVAC, your electrical, things of that nature. What's not being used for those things is all very usable storage space. Here as we wrap up, I'll give you a look down in the hatch of this one. So you've got your transfer switch, go from your shore power to generator power up here at our Helm as well. And then this is going to be a remote start for an onboard Kohler generator. It's a 12.5 kW Kohler generator. Now I should point out we do have a AM/FM cassette stereo and some zoned audio that was on this boat ever since it was new in '95. This stereo right here is not functioning, and our VHF radio right here is also not functioning. Now, you do have basically VHF antenna installed up on the flybridge, so if that was important to you, obviously that's going to be an easy swap out, again, because all your hardware is already here for that. Remote spotlight does function on this one. We've kind of noticed through our years, those remote spotlights don't usually work. This one does. And then we've got a small Insignia. That's a 19-inch LCD television that's just mounted up there above the helm area right there. That's not hooked up to anything, but obviously that has been utilized in the past. Now I'm going to step on back here and give you a little bit of a view, a better view of our living room area here. There is no sofa in this one. We do have some newer carpeting inside. We do have a recliner chair right here that's going to be remaining. And we've got, we do have some additional speakers that go with our audio system that is over here at our entertainment center. This is going to be a 40-inch Samsung LED HD smart TV. And we've got here next to our Sony television, we've got a Insignia stereo receiver with a separate zoned audio system right here. So now this has an auxiliary input. They've actually sent that over here. So if you are wanting to listen to your device through that auxiliary input, you can have it over there as opposed to having being inside the cabinet over here. And that's going to be in the auxiliary 3 input, but that's going to be a AM FM Bluetooth auxiliary input receiver, and we've got zoned audio for that. So these two larger Bose speakers right here in the kind of main salon area, those are on that system, and it's also integrated with some of our original audio speakers that was on this boat that was originally at one time probably using this zone system over here for that cassette stereo. So we've got speakers here in the main salon, as well as these two speakers out here on the front porch are going to be connected to that system. And we've got speakers upstairs that are connected to that system as well. So we can see inside, basically front porch and top deck. There is a sun deck that's on there as well. There are a pair of speakers on the very rear of our upper level that we have not been able to get to function. I'm guessing that's likely what that sun deck is identified there for those two speakers. I'll point those two speakers out to you when we get up to the upper level. Now, I want to pause right here and take a moment and tell you we have a newly installed, this is a 2-ton geothermal marine air unit that is working basically the front half of the boat. And we've got basically boat, here we are, set that at whatever temperature you like. And that is a geothermal unit, basically meaning that is using the lake water to make hot or cool air. It's very efficient, great option for, especially on a houseboat, because you've got plenty of water right underneath of you here. We're floating on about 34,000 acres of it here on Norris Lake, I think it is. And so that's basically just a water source, geothermal type air unit. Very popular in cruisers because they don't utilize a lot of space and they're very efficient. So we've actually got two of those units on here. Again, this front one here, that's new. That's going to have a transferable warranty for it. And your duct work is ran just like it would be if you had central heat and air. We've got your heat and air vents in basically every room of this boat throughout. And there's actually 2 units. So you've got separate control up here in the front area and another control back there in the rear half of the boat. I'll point that out when we get to it. All right, moving along, we've got a nice little dining table here. I should point out that's not mounted down. So if you don't love the location of that, you can move that around wherever you like. It does have some storage integrated in. Just below here, you've got basically a little cabinet built into there. And we've got a nice large lighted cabinet just behind that, along with a little storage closet and an integrated bar here on our galley kitchen area. We've got newer appliances throughout on this one. We've got a KitchenAid smooth top 5-burner electric oven and range with a whirlpool over the range microwave, double sink, and we've got a newer Bosch dishwasher. Got some nice LED lights underneath those cabinets there. And we've got a pretty wide range of your kitchen items that are going to be transferring with this one. So you're going to have full set of glassware, dishes, pots, pans, you name it. So this is going to be a really nice turnkey option for somebody. Now on the other side of our galley kitchen here, we've got a Whirlpool Gold. That's a 27 cubic foot refrigerator freezer with a ice maker. We've got ice and water in the door here. I already had that light on there. And the bottom freezer. And 27 cubic feet on that one. Try to give you that full 360-degree tour without making you nauseous. We'll move our camera around and give you basically good feel. We want to be able to give you an accurate representation of this one, as we do with all of our listings. All right, so I think we're done up here in our main salon and galley area. And let's head on back to our 4 staterooms. And 1.5 baths. These are going to be, I believe these are going to be all queen size. And I should pause right here. We do have pocket door right here. You're going to be able to close off from the rest of the staterooms. Maybe you've got some younger kids in the boat. You've got some company over. You don't want to see them, let them see maybe the messes that are kind of spilled out from their staterooms. You can close that off right there and just entertain the front half of the boat. And then I guess I also would be remiss if I didn't show you our little pantry right here alongside of our galley kitchen area. And then as we do head down our center hallway, first of our 4 queen staterooms is going to be over here to the starboard side. Got a nice large hanging closet, 12-volt fan in there, 12-volt and AC lighting, 12-volt and 120 lighting. We've got a small little nightstand with some dresser drawers and a mirrored cabinet integrated in there. That's going to be up 2 steps from the main level. And then as we go on down our center hallway right here, our full bath is going to be over here to the port side of our hallway. That's going to be a Raritan marine head unit, walk-in shower. And we've got, for our waste tank capacity on this one, we're going to have, let's see, we've got 2 84-gallon aluminum waste holding tanks. And we've got 3 80-gallon plastic freshwater tanks. Now, I should point out that those aluminum waste tanks should be changed out to plastic. Has not been done. Like I said, there are 2 84-gallon aluminum waste holding tanks. There's also going to be a lake water pump system on this one. Again, going back to when this boat was originally built, that lake water pump system would be a way to get, basically take water from the lake to utilize for sinks and showers. Now, there's not a potable water system on board. That's something that could easily be added because you do already have a lake water system. Now, before I head down those steps, we do have a pocket door right here at the entryway. It's going to be our double cuddy. We're going to step down 4 steps down into our double cuddy. We've got a queen size bed in our forward cuddy. I believe this was about a 5 foot 9 inch headroom in this forward cuddy here, just under 6 feet. Now we've got a fan overhead. We've got some integrated dresser drawers just on the other side of this queen size bed. That hatch right there is going to be a hatch to access the interior hull space that we spoke of earlier. Now that is latched, so if you do have young ones in there, it's going to be difficult for them to actually get that open on their own. And we've got I believe it's a 29-inch LCD television. We've got a Samsung Blu-ray player right there. And then that air return that you see there, that is for our rear geothermal unit. That is a 24,000 capacity or 24,000 BTU capacity heating and cooling units for reverse cycle. So you make hot and cold air, just like that one in the front of the boat that we just spoke of. And we've got nice little privacy curtains right here where you can kind of close this off. Little integrated dresser drawer, and then we've got our rear cuddy has its own door for some added privacy. And it's going to be another queen size bed here. Now we've got a little bit lower clearance right here. This is what we call our crawl-in cuddy. This is going to be about, I think it's about 45 inches of headroom right in here. So this is perfect for the youngsters. And of course, this bed right here, you can essentially move this however you like. We've got plenty of floor space down here. There's actually 2 mattresses right here. These are 2 queen size mattresses. They were being used basically side by side. There was enough room down here on the floor to actually have both of those queen mattresses side by side. Now, obviously, this area is going to be a little bit shorter clearance. There is also another little integrated dresser drawer right there. Now, that is not mounted. When both of these mattresses were side by side, that one right there was not in that position right there. That would need to get moved. You've also got additional storage right over here to get into that hull space. And again, that one's kind of latched up as well to keep the youngsters out of there if you don't want them in there. And again, we've got 12 volt and 110 lighting down here. I believe they did also have a fan down in this compartment as well. That is transferred, and I think that's actually just in the in one of those cabinet drawers right now. All right, we'll take a couple steps back up to our main level. Here is the controls for that second marine air unit. And master stateroom is going to be just a little bit farther back through this pocket door. We've got a queen island bed right here, ceiling fan overhead. We've got a integrated nightstand, some dresser drawer storage over there, and then our these 2 speakers right here, I believe, were tied in to that stereo cabinet up in the front. Could be wrong on that. Those may have been pulled out of there and still connected on the original zoned audio controls that went with that cassette stereo right there. But we do have a 32-inch Emerson LED 720 HD television here in our master stateroom. We've got this Kenwood receiver, 2 of those Bose speakers right there that are connected to that Kenwood receiver right there. And then we've also got a sliding door that's going to exit out over on the starboard side of this one. Now, obviously, the way this boat is parked right now, there's no walkway over here on the starboard side. But depending on how you have this boat set up, that might be something that you can utilize. So there's that little cabinet integrated in right next to this queen island bed here. You hear island bed mentioned on a boat. That just basically means both sides of the bed are going to be accessible. Typically, you're always going to have that in your master stateroom, unless maybe the boat was built for commercial purposes or rental purposes. Perhaps, if you get one of those where you've got maybe six or seven staterooms in there, and a lot of times those beds are going to be kind of against a wall. So nice storage right here underneath that Emerson television. We've got some additional integrated storage over here on our port side wall, and we've also got half bath here just off of your master suite right here. It's going to be another Raritan head. And again, that's going into that 84-gallon aluminum waste holding tank. Yep, we've got two of those. Vanity sink right here with some cabinet storage, and also we've got some integrated storage behind those mirrors there. Now, another feature that I'm excited to show you lies right behind this door here. We've got a laundry room, something you do not usually have in a houseboat. Again, this would have been something that original builder, the original owner of this boat would have spec'd out for them if they were going to be a liveaboard. They knew they wanted a nice laundry and not just a stacked washer and dryer in a closet somewhere. So that's what we've got here. We've got lots of storage. We've got another little dresser drawer here, got some hanging storage, and we've got an ironing board. And this is very clever. I've seen this in one other houseboat that was kind of built to be a liveaboard right here. They made these so that they could be compact, but yet handy when you need them. Also knowing that if you had a regular size ironing board, it'd be difficult to do in a boat, so we've got just a nice small one right here, just the right size to be able to do your garments when needed. And it just simply folds down and sticks right back up in that hook right there. So I love it when things have a place like that. So we've got a pair of Frigidaire front loading wash and dryers. These are the Frigidaire Affinity series washer and dryer. Got some cedar lined walls right in that area as well. And I feel like there was something else I needed to point out in here, but if I think of it, we'll come back to it. Let's go ahead and head on outside, step through our insulated sliding door, insulated walls. And I'm gonna raise our engine hatches here. So again, this is those Mercruiser 5.0 liter V8 with Bravo Outdrives. Again, just under 1,500 hours on our engines. We've got a newer Addit NoCo Genius 4-bank onboard battery charger, battery switch. It's going to be a 78-gallon fuel tank. We're going to have two of these back here in our engine room. And before I move on, another really nice feature that has been added after the fact on this one. This is going to be a winterization valve right here next to these. This is going to be your house battery bank right here, where we've got two 6-volt batteries series together to make a 12-volt. This winterization valve, this is going to be right here where you're going to add your antifreeze. So first you want to run this up to temperature. Now right now our valve coming from the outdrive is turned off. It's in the off position. So when you winterize these, this is actually much easier to do when you've got this winterization valve right there. Run this up to temperature, get it nice and hot. Then you're going to close your valve off right there to prevent any additional lake water from coming in. You're going to drain your engine block and your manifolds. And after those drain, you put those plugs back in. And then you simply open this valve right here. And you run your engine, or you run your winterization antifreeze through. Now they do make special antifreeze for this. You do not want to use car antifreeze or coolant. You want to use a special RV marine safe version that is good for engines. They do have two different versions of like an RV antifreeze. One's for your freshwater systems and the others for your engines. Now let me raise our port side hatch. See the same thing over here. This 5.0 liter Mercruiser. Again, this one I think was 4,495 engine hours on it. Rudder angle indicator is going to be controlled off this one. And then we've got that same winterization valve right through there. So that is a very handy feature. Now here is our 12.5 kW Kohler generator. We saw the remote start for this up at our lower helm, and there are 7,291.2 engine hours on our Kohler generator here. This boat was used as a boat and not just spent its whole life in a slip. Just forward of our Kohler generator is going to be our automatic Fireboy fire suppression system. There's your strainer for your generator water intake. Automatic bilge pump down there, nice clean and dry bilge. This battery charger right here is no longer being utilized right there. That one's basically been decommissioned. And then you've got your MMC control boxes for those electronic shift and throttle controllers. And then your other 78-gallon aluminum fuel tank right over here. Those winterization valves are very handy. You know what? While I'm here, I want to point one other thing out. This one does need to have the generator exhaust rerouted. Right now, our generator exhaust is going through the transom. There was a recall on these that required all these exhausts to get sent out the side of the boat and not through the transom. And that is because when you've got a little integrated swim platform like we have now, you've kind of got a pocket of air back there. And with that exhaust going out through the transom, a lot of that carbon monoxide can kind of get trapped in that area. And does make it unsafe for if you got swimmers in the water back there and that generator's running. It's much better for that generator exhaust to be going out the side of the boat where it's not going to be trapped and become concentrated of carbon monoxide. Now, a few other features to point out here in our rear deck. Obviously, you can see we've got a personal watercraft ramp that's been fashioned with this davit here on our rear hoist there. Originally, these davits were kind of used to lift smaller watercraft out of the water, put it on a little dolly somewhere. This one, they've gone one step farther. They've made a little, basically a little PWC sling or ramp out of this. You're going to be able to lower that power winch and float that on off. And again, this Kawasaki jet ski is not included in the sale of the houseboat. That one is going to be retained by the seller. I don't know if you noticed up on the bow of this boat, we had a little water faucet right there. That is from a washdown system that is utilized with that lake water pump that we told you about. 4-step swim boarding ladder right here. It's just on a little swing, and that will just drop right down in the water. And we've got a little boarding ramp right here. This is just something for kids to jump off of. I don't know if this caught your eye, but we've got here, we've got a rear shore power connection. This boat takes 50 amp shore power. This one here is going to be your shore power connection, and this one over here is going to be a connection for cable TV or phone jack, which is not kind of commonly used in our area, but that's what it's there for. And then this is going to be your dockside water hookup. So we've got two hookups for your power and your water. So with this boat, you've got the option of bowed in like we are now, or you could spin this around, back it in your slip, and be bow out. And again, when you do spin this the other way and face with your bow out, then that little sliding door right there that we just talked about off the master stateroom, that would then empty out right over here onto the dock in this current slip setup. Now, you might have a double finger slip, and then you've got access on both sides. But the nice thing about having the front and the rear power hookups is you've got options. No matter what your slip, you can back in and face out, or you can pull in forward and face in. Really just depends on personal preferences there, but you've got both of those options the way this one sits. Let me step off on our dock here, give you a little look kind of back onto the boat right here. We're going to head upstairs next. Nice handrails on this ladder right here, can make it a little bit easy to walk up. And then as we do come up, do want to point out this roof is due to be recoated. I do not think there's any repairs that need to be made, but that is your roof professionals and marine surveyors are going to be able to tell you a little bit more. But so this area right here where this gel coat surface is cracked and you're seeing some fiberglass fibers, we've got the same kind of around this rear stairwell area in a few spots where we've got that. So this does need to be recoated. Gel coat's what would have been on here originally. It's not always the best product to use these days. There's just better alternatives out there. So keep in mind, there are going to be a lot of options. We do have 3 flagpoles back here on the rear deck. And these are the 2 speakers that I mentioned that I believe is what's labeled for the sun deck. We cannot get these to power up right here. But those look like perhaps some wakeboard tower speakers that somebody fashioned up here at one time. So there's your other one there. Now again, we do have some spots on the floor. This one does appear to be solid, but there are plenty of areas that do need attention. There's some areas that have received some attention. We've got some type of a sealant that is kind of in other areas, probably where they kind of were a little bit more proactive and added some material to prevent against any leaks, but the roof itself is due to be recoated. Now, we do have built in right here, we've got a large hot tub. Now, this hot tub is not functional, and it actually looks more built in than it actually is. We do have a nice layered support right here. So this is our roof. We've basically got an extra this is some extra material where they made basically a surface where they knew they wanted to put a hot tub. This is a great option because hot tubs can, depending on the hot tub type, they can kind of hold some moisture down on that roof. So when they've doubled that roof up like this, it's really going to cut down on any potential for that to happen. So again, it looks more built in than it actually is. It's actually just sitting on this pad right here. So this hot tub will lift off of there and really just needs to be discarded. But if you do want to have another hot tub installed, you've got this really nice pad to do so. Of course, you're also going to have electric ran up here for that as well. And I believe under this panel right here is where, yeah, is where we can see a little bit more of this. So here's kind of the plumbing for that. I was thinking maybe we'd see a little bit more of the interior in here. Yeah, maybe we can. So see, this is just sitting on that surface. Can easily be removed from there. And again, because the age of this one, this is the same vintage of the boat. This is probably not worthwhile putting any money into. You really just need to replace it if you do want a hot tub. But the good thing about it is you've got this nice elevated pad right here. That's going to give you plenty of support for any hot tub of your choice to be brought up here in place of this one. And again, when we have this roof resurfaced or recoated, and go right over top of that pad right there. If you're not interested in keeping a hot tub, when you dispose of this one, you do have a nice little level pad right there. Maybe you want to put nice large piece of furniture there or something like that. Maybe some lounge chairs right here, and utilize the kind of the sun deck of this one. Now, just forward, we do have a canvas party top. We've got a Charbroil commercial stainless gas grill. Appears to have a side burner, but this side burner does need to be replaced right there. The grill itself is in really great shape. Plenty of life left in it. And then we've got a 55-inch LG flat screen television. We're not sure yet if that works. That was previously kept covered. There's a little cover that goes on that. Obviously, we pulled the cover off for our video tour and photographs of this one, but we're going to try to verify the operation of that one. It's funny, these newer HD televisions, if you don't have the remote, you can't even turn them on. That's what we've got here. This is an LG Ultra HD 55-inch flat screen television. So we're trying to get a replacement remote's on the way. So once we get that, we'll be able to try to power that up and verify that it's still functional. We do have a fan overhead here on our canvas party top. I believe this is a 18-foot canvas party top. Of course, we'll have all that stuff is going to be verified in our full write-up of this one. And then we do have some rope lighting underneath here, which I think you can probably see. And then we've got two speakers up here as well. And these are the speakers that have been verified that are connected to our stereo receiver down in that entertainment system in the main salon of this one. Patio furniture up here is going to be transferring. And then we've got a dual helm fly bridge with bimini top overhead here just forward of our canvas, that 18-foot canvas party top. There are two speakers built into this fly bridge. Those are non-operational. MMC controllers up here. There's going to be another mount for that little 19-inch television that's above the lower helm down there. And then we've got your remote spotlight controls. Let's see, this is going to be a 12-volt power outlet and a dual USB outlet here. Covers a little bit. Has had some UV damage on it. There's that 12-volt, dual 12-volt USB outlet. And of course, this is your power switch there to have that on. We do have a functional depth finder up here as well. It's another low Rance 3500 depth finder. Give that a minute, see if it gives us a reading here. MMC shift controllers. Again, over here, starboard side entry, your battery volts, your engine water temperature, engine oil pressure, tachometer, rudder angle indicator gauge, and then your port side tachometer, engine oil pressure, engine water temp, and battery volt gauge as well. Depth's still kind of flashing, looking for a reading. We do have a functional horn up here. Oh, we did get a blast out of that earlier. It's being a little shy here for our video tour. That's that remote spotlight that we made reference to earlier when we were down our lower helm. This dish playmaker is not currently being utilized, is not set up. But that I do believe that will be transferring. Of course, that's always something. Feel free to reach out to us for the full list of excluded items, things that are not going with this one. So. More good look here around our second level. Canvas is in pretty decent shape on this one. Now, if you look into those seams right there, you'll see a little bit of lighting coming through. That's usually an indicator that it's starting to age, but I do not see any major rips or tears, so there's definitely still some life remaining in this. Now, if you do take that canvas off in the winter months, you will double the life of that canvas, but it is serviceable right now. It's hard to get a good read on the age. Actually, before we head down those steps, I do want to point out our fly bridge here is raised. Again, this is another option that could have been done at the factory level or down the road. Now, it is cracking here kind of around our fly bridge connections right here. But when you have this kind of raised supports for your fly bridge, that means these screws that mount this fly bridge in place are not actually going through your roof. They're going through this pad for it. So kind of like where that hot tub, but you had that second layer of protection on your roof, you've got the same up here on your fly bridge. Now we are showing some weathering right here at this seam, again where this needs to be recoated, and when they do so, they're gonna basically repair these cracks that we right here around this pad of this fly bridge. But again, when you've got that on that raised pad, that is definitely a bonus, something you don't always have. And in fact, a lot of people are opting to do that when they are having to recoat their roofs, because that's a great way to prevent moisture damage in your roof. So again, that crack kind of goes along this pad for that fly bridge across the bow of the boat as well. Do have some TV antennas, and that's going to be a cell phone booster, your anchor light, and we've got a little, I don't know if you can see it spinning around back there, a little weather sensor back on the back of the canvas party top there. Now I'll go ahead and utilize our front staircase to go right back down to our front porch where we started. As I do make my way down there, I do want to point out we've got a little bit of weathering in our carpeting here on the front steps. Now, a good thing about these front steps is that's actually aluminum right there. These are basically on an aluminum frame right here, so that's not, that's just cosmetic right there, I guess what I'm trying to say. And here's your dockside water hookup here on the bow, along with a freshwater wash down. And of course that 50 amp shore power connection is done so over there on our starboard bow corner. I do want to raise our hatch right here because we've got another additional feature that I have not mentioned yet. We do have a 2,000 watt inverter on board. Now, these inverter batteries do need to be replaced. We've also got some tie-up ropes in these baskets right here. These baskets are a great way to allow these ropes to kind of dry out after you use them. We've got 2 large anchors up here as well. Of course, some nice little storage built in here. We got an air compressor, basically a little kind of storage shelf where we've got some coolers built in. We've even got a little bit of a padded hull right here. It makes getting down here a little bit easier to do than normal. Got some additional life jackets in these totes right here. Now, here's our inverter batteries. These are on a nice little tray right here. These do need to be in a spill-proof container. We have spill-proof containers, but they're not in there. They need to be popped in those spill-proof containers. And like I said, these batteries are likely due to be replaced. Don't think you're going to get much capacity out of them right now. We don't have a date as to when they were last replaced, but we do have an 8 battery bank inverter system. Of course, you've got room to do another row. The more battery capacity you have, then the longer that 2,000 watt inverter will last. But doesn't increase the capacity, just increase, well, it doesn't increase the 2,000 watts. That's going to be your max load on it. But it will give you a longer life the more batteries you have. So, all right, let me spin on out of here. Climb on out. And I believe I promised you a little look down into the interior whole space of this one. So stepping back through that insulated door one more time. So here's our hatch. There's multiple access points for our interior hull storage here. You're going to have 2 access points down in your rear cuddy areas. And then you've got this one here by our lower helm. I'm going to go ahead and step down here. And I'm going to flip on some lights as well. Now here's the other side of that inverter. Again, this is a sine wave inverter charger. This is a 2,000 watt capacity. This is going to be your main electric panel right here for all your 110, so basically all your generator and shore power electric. We've got a Quicksilver galvanic isolator, and then we've got a separate panel here for our inverter. And this actually will show you exactly everything that is powered by your inverter. We've got your lights in the whole space, kitchen and bath, your cuddy staterooms, the party top, the rear deck, and your other 2 upper staterooms, refrigerator, and your front porch and main salon area. So essentially that's going to be your television equipment, of course your lighting, and your basically in all the rooms of the boat, as well as your refrigerator. That inverter primarily is designed to power your refrigerator without requiring the generator to run when you're disconnected from dock power. That's essentially where they became popular in their use on houseboats. And then of course now they've realized they can power more things than that, but primarily it's for your refrigerator. It's also kind of a great backup power for your refrigerator. Even if you're not leaving the slip, if you ever lose power, that inverter will automatically kick in and power that refrigerator. Now obviously you do need fresh batteries for that. Our 3 80-gallon freshwater tanks are right up here. We've got one right there. This is number 2. And then right around the corner here, we've got number 3. And this is going to be your strainer. And this is going to be for our lake water pump as well as our air conditioning. This is going to be that newer unit right here. That's the 2-ton unit with transferable warranty on it. Which can be your water pump that's going to power that geothermal unit. And just behind these life jackets over here, it's going to be our lake water pump. We've got a filter there. We've got a large pressure tank just beyond that. And again, most of our valves are labeled there too. So you can kind of see, like I said, you can use that lake water pump, refill your tanks. There is no purification system or sterilization system. So right now, if you're using that for your winter water, you just want to use it for sinks and showers. But you've got plenty of room down here. You can very easily add like a few extra filters and a UV light for treatment, and then you can make your own potable water. But right now, it's just going to be kind of a simple lake water pump that you might just use for sinks and showers. We are one of the cleanest reservoirs in the area here on Norris Lake. Just farther back, you can see that's a newer 19.9 gallon capacity electric water heater. And then just beyond that, step around the corner here, this is going to be that other marine air unit that's working the back of the boat. So again, that's a 24,000 capacity, BTU capacity. We do have some, I mentioned, some of the interior walls were insulated. We've got some flooring here insulated. That's R11 insulation, just on the interior flooring. And then a little bit farther back, just behind those, just behind that block there. Actually, I've got a zoom right here. Utilize that zoom. We've got some insulation on the interior walls right there. That's kind of right next to where those tanks are. Concrete block there is for ballast. They'll essentially move that onto the boat after they float them when they first leave the factory, figure out where they need more additional ballast at, and they'll simply carry down some block to do so. And you can see here that system's about ready to kick back on and start running again. And we'll make our way on out. So I believe I showed you everything we promised. As we do start to wrap up here, we'll remind you again to take the trip over our website. If you do have any questions about this one, again, we do not monitor YouTube comment page, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us through the website. When you do make it a listing page for this one, again, that link's going to be in that video description, take you right to a listing page. You can reach out to us, phone, text, or email. I do like to remind you, if you call us on the phone, you get our voicemail, and you want to return a phone call, keep in mind we're very frequently in areas without cell phone reception, so please take the time, leave us a detailed message, let us know which listing you're looking at, what questions you have, and then as soon as we either finish with the customer or return to sales service area, we'll be able to receive that call, answer all those questions for you. And then, of course, if you send us an email, if it's been more than one business day, you have not got an email reply, please check your spam folder. We're generally going to get email replies back out to everybody in the same business day. But if you haven't, check your spam folder. We do have a high rate of our emails tend to end up in customer spam folders. There were a few areas in the ceiling back here. Let me point out, this are probably signs of some old leaks in the ceiling right here. You'll see where a little bit of discoloration right there. That tends to kind of show up when you get a stain. They may have tried to kind of paint over it. I'm not aware that we've got any active leaks in the roof. It all appears to be very solid. There were some patch areas done. There's another area right there. You kind of see that right there. Were some patch areas done. But again, this roof does need to be recoated. But I do not think that there's any active leaks or any repair work to do. Just simply needs to be recoated. Now, if you go too long on that, then there might be some repair work to do. But as of right now, I do not believe we've got any leaks at the moment. Just needs to be recoated. I would budget to do that by at least by the next spring, perhaps. So again, that's going to start to wrap things up for this one. Again, this is that custom built 1995 Lakeview 16 by 75 foot wide body, custom built, fully insulated houseboat for sale. Transferable slip on Norris Lake, Tennessee. Twin V8 Mercruiser engines, 12.5 kW Kohler Generator. Get you one more look of the exterior here as we sign off. It's been my pleasure to show this one to you. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions. If you walk down this side here, we've got some nice clean hull sides. We've got some good caulking on that hull, the deck joint. We do have a little bit of a different windows in this one. It's a little bit more like maybe household windows, but they are insulated. A little bit more weathering back here on this back third of the boat. You see a little bit, you get up close here, we get a little bit of cracking in there. That needs to get some wax on there. You really want to wax the exterior of these twice a year at a minimum. You can see your wall's got a much better shine to it back here, kind of where it's kind of out of the weather, perhaps a little bit more so than on our hull sides. And we'll head back up toward the front of it, give you another look down both sides. Oh, it just caught my eye. We got a little bit of a pretty good little scratch on that aluminum hull there. That was probably a docking error at one point. I do want to point that out to you. We'll get some photos of that to also have available at the website. And looks like we got another pretty good little scratch just forward of that one. Looks like they're probably saying that one to get rid of any rough edge right there. How does that go? It goes a little bit farther than that. But again, that's the beauty of the aluminum hulls. That's just going to be purely cosmetic. Another one right here near this fender as well. I'd say we're lacking some fenders at one point. And we got that game plank up here at the bow. Lots of features to kind of talk through on this one. So again, feel free to check out the website for the full list. And again, that's going to wrap it up today on this one. Again, the 1995 Lakeview 16 by 75 foot wide body aluminum hull, custom built, insulated, 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath houseboat for sale. Again, here with this transferable slip here on beautiful Norris Lake, Tennessee. I thank you again for joining us. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions. Be happy to show this one to you in the near future. Just reach out to us to schedule a time to come see it. And again, I thank you for joining us on this one.